Good morning. Well, the good news is the British people are not going to take registering their chickens lying down. I've got some brilliant comments to read you from yesterday's video. So we're going to kick the day off with a funny one. And then I've got some auction analysis coming up later today. And I am going to read out that resignation letter from the MP that has resigned as well. So ChickenGate. Your questions. I've got some, you've been asking some very serious questions about registering your chickens, so we're going to dive into that. But let's start with two of the slightly more bleaker comments on yesterday's video. Someone has written, we go blackberry picking for the past 20 years, but this year they are all dead or have mould on them, and we've never seen anything like it. So slightly concerning for the food supply. And another comment here, it's potato season in England and there's no way of farmers getting them in because of the rain. A lot of farmers are going to lose their crop. If anyone can confirm or deny that in the comments, then please do go for it. Before we dive into registering rotisserie chickens and registering your bird, the Lower Thames crossing thing, there's been this brilliant comment here. Right, the planning application is quite extensive. It contains 359,000 pages spread across 2,383 documents. It makes it the longest planning application in UK history. An A4 sheet of paper is 29.7 centimetres in height. 359,000 pages times 29.7 centimetres means that the length of the paper stretched end to end is 106.6 kilometres, which is longer than the actual development that they're proposing. And I did some further maths, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I reckon if you took all of those pages in the planning application, it's 250 metres tall. I can't have done that right. My maths must be wrong there. Maybe it's 25 metres tall. But either way, imagine trying to read a planning document that is as tall as a swimming pool, like when they're stacked on top of each other. Ridiculous. Right then, chickens, let's do it. Some of these comments are serious and some of them get progressively worse, and you can see that the British people have a fantastic sense of humour when it comes to government overreach. First comment, it's not only chickens, it's any bird you can keep outside. This includes my bird of prey. So I have an Article 10 licence from DEFRA for owning the bird. I have a transporter's licence for moving the bird. I have an animal activity licence so I can show the bird. And now I've registered my bird with APHA due to this new law. So my bird of prey is registered and licensed 4 times, but there's nothing for dogs or cats. Interesting comment. Next one. By the way, registering chickens and other birds is EU legislation, and they're already doing that in Portugal. But I thought we left the UK. I thought the UK left the EU. Very, very good point. It seems that leaving the EU didn't actually mean anything, but it did seem to cost us a whole load of money. But people get annoyed when I talk about stuff like that. I'm quite happy to sit on the fence and say, I don't know, maybe it was just so that David Cameron didn't have to disclose all of his offshore tax concerns. I feed pigeons and seagulls in my garden by hand. How am I going to list these? If the government isn't interested in those wild birds that I touch every day and share half-eaten sandwiches with, why is it interested in my chickens that I rarely touch? This has nothing to do with health and everything to do with the control of food. So if the government is, if we've got no potatoes and we've got no blackberries and now you're not going to have any chickens, what are we going to eat? Bugs? And if we don't own anything, will we be happy? I'm not sure we will. In Germany, you have to register your chickens. It costs €5 per bird. Plus, they have to be vaccinated every 6 months for €30 a bird. Also, did you know that chickens kept privately by amateurs have a higher risk of salmonella? No, I didn't know that, but I think I probably want to risk amateur chickens over battery hens, in all honesty. Anyone foolish enough to follow government orders regarding registration of animals, not just chickens, will lose them eventually. I believe the microchipping of pets was just to get people used to this idiocy. We do see things introduced for pets that then get rolled out for humans. Chickens must be registered, but countless thousands of illegal... Oh, you can't say that. Can roam freely unchecked. Go figure. Not sure I can say that on my YouTube channel, but it's a pretty good point. The chickens must be registered, but a lot of people... I mean, if your chicken is recently... So let's say your chicken didn't... Let's say your chicken had come from, I don't know, sub-Saharan Africa and had walked all the way through, I don't know, let's say quite a lot of very safe countries and arrived at, I don't know, let's say Calais. And then do they float? Do chickens float? or let's say it's jumped on a boat, when it arrives in the UK, if you then take ownership and start looking after that chicken, then you have to register it with the government, so the government knows it's there. But that is the only thing that is coming across the channel that has to be registered, but that you can't talk about any of that anyway. Next one, I've registered my bird legitimately through the government website. I've advised them that I have a partridge, which I keep in my pear tree, and someone else has a very similar sense of humour here as well. I will be registering a partridge in a pear tree, 2 turtle doves, 3 French hens, 4 calling birds, 6 geese are laying, and 7 swans are swimming. I also have some other assets that I won't be registering, including a decent sized pipe and drum band and some dancers and acrobats. Brilliant. The British sense of humour is genuinely what's going to see us through here. I've registered all of my chickens and now they're road legal. Brilliant. It's going to be an awkward conversation when you are caught speeding on your chicken. Are chickens getting registration numbers then? Chicken on a plate, not plate on a chicken. And then I started thinking about what the best private number plates would be for a chicken. So over to you in the comments on that one. And then they get progressively worse, basically, as we carry on. Geoff, should I register my 2 tins of Heinz chicken soup and a pot chicken meat paste? And I nearly forgot about my budgie, Joey. And also, does a dead parrot need to be registered? To which I replied, well, it doesn't look dead. Someone else says, I've registered 3 chickens, but I'm not sure how many we've actually got in the freezer. Many of you registering the chickens that are in your fridge and freezer. Someone else, so millions of game birds are bred, reared, and then released into the countryside every year. DEFRA are not going to be able to keep tabs on every bird. It's unworkable. Great comment. Where we live, there's lots of pheasant shooting, and I found out the other day it costs £50 to shoot a pheasant if you want to go on an organised hunt. I once ran one down with a Volvo C70 T5 and ate that for free. Cost me nothing. I've got a pet chicken that won't be registered. We get several pheasants and ducks that come into the garden. They won't give me their names though, so I can't register them. Now, just to clarify, you don't have to put in your bird's name when you register on the government website. How many birds can we register? Do you remember the song Mambo Number 5, says someone. And in a similar vein, the next few comments, I tried to register my missus, but they wouldn't let me because she's no spring chicken. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Geoff, up north, they have a girlfriend, but down south, we have a bird. Does that mean I have to register the missus? Do you know if you still have to register your bird if you married her? So again, lots of people going on the same line there. If this is the beginning of the end for our chickens, is this the apocalypse? I tried playing Beethoven to our chickens to encourage them to lay more cultured eggs, but all they keep demanding is bark, bark, bark. It's a terrible joke. Yes, I've tagged my chicken up to the grid with a digital ID. I just need to register my garden and what food I'm growing. Oh, I've accidentally put a serious one in the funny section because that is essentially the goal here. Register and tag your chicken to your digital ID and then tell them what you're growing in your garden so they know exactly what food you've got that is not underneath government control. We all know that's what it's about. New comment, do chickens living on a 53-foot yacht have to be registered? Maritime law is different to current clown world, by the way. Lots of things to be discovered when you start researching maritime law. Speaking of things that float, can I register my rubber duck? Good question. I mean, I don't see why not. In this day and age, your rubber duck can identify as a chicken, and if your rubber duck is talking to you in the bath and telling you that it is identifying as a chicken, there's actually nothing that anybody can do to deny that that is an actual fact. I had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday who had recently discovered that a slightly removed acquaintance of his was now identifying as a cat. This is a bloke in his 40s. And my friend was saying, at what point did we stop saying, okay, you're not a cat, you have some major mental health problems, you're going through a bit of a breakdown and we just need to get you some help. Which is cool, because in the old days, they would have just locked you in the asylum. But now, we're in a position where if you register your rubber duck because your rubber duck identifies as a chicken, you can't prove that your rubber duck is not a chicken, but nobody can prove that it is either. So you get this stalemate where anything can be anything, and that is the one win that we can take from this weird woke culture where anyone can identify as anything. If you want to go around the world telling everybody that you are a table, nobody can actually prove you otherwise based on the modern way of doing things. I quite like that. Someone then says, looking at your display, is the third up on the left column an EV? Just wondering because the shelf beneath it looks like it's sagging under the weight. I think he's talking about this one. No, it's not an EV. It's just a really shoddy, cheap shelf from Amazon. That's a Brabus Mercedes G-Wagon that was a gift from Mrs. Geoff some Christmases ago, and the bonnet opens, actually. Another comment, all my penguins are registered and ready to eat at will. God bless them, but yeah, yum. Strength, Godspeed. Thank you for that one. Godspeed and human. Godspeed and humour is indeed what's going to get us through. How are they going to know if anyone has unregistered chickens or birds? Are they going to send bird licence goons round like with a TV licence? Drones flying over areas where chicken or bird keeping is likely and spying on you? Pretty dark comment, but the answer is probably yes. There's going to be a van parked outside with an aerial on it with one of those audio things that they use on these Bigfoot programs that I really like to watch, and they're going to be listening out for chicken clucks, and then they're going to knock on the door and you're going to have to go, no, it's just me, I've got Tourette's. Back. And the guy will be like, all right, well, I'll be back next week. A lot of that's coming. Right, another comment here. Today, I learnt that after every Jeffel, our man visits Waitrose for a rotisserie chicken. This was a comment from someone, and a user called Geoff Buys Cars has replied saying, I ate one in the car the other week. Honestly, I was out with my bird and I popped into the shop for a snack and I couldn't find anything healthy, but my nose was drawn to the back of the shop and I came out with a peri-peri chicken and sat in the passenger seat, gnawing on it and throwing the bones out the window like a Neanderthal, and it was excellent, but my bird was not impressed. So thank you very much for that comment, Jeffrey. And finally, someone has opened up a whole nother barrel of worms, bucket of chickens, saying, do bats count? Do we now have to register bats? And if we are registering bats, what kind of bats? Baseball bats, cricket bats, active bats, vampire bats, assumed vampire bats, people that identify as vampire bats. So there we go. That is this morning's video. A quick run through British humour, and if you're watching from America and thinking these British people are crazy, then yes, we are. Unfortunately, we don't have any weapons. Those were all taken from us, but we do have a stiff upper lip and a very good sense of humour and cricket bats. So we've got to work with what we've got. Thank you very much for watching.